Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about RFID shielding. Now, from everything that I've heard, RFID shielding is actually something that you can succeed in doing by simply adding a layer of aluminum. And in my case, I'm going to add 2 layers of aluminum inside of the wallet. Okay, now you can add it into a wallet that already exists, or even into your own wallets, whatever shape or size they may be, by simply creating an aluminum pouch, okay, and putting it in there, inserting it into your wallet. What I have here is that I'm going to show you how to either insert it into an existing wallet or how to put it into a wallet that you're still in the process of making, that isn't complete yet. In either case, actually, doing it on a wallet that you're in the process of making is actually better than doing it into this one, because you have a couple of more options. Anyway, we're going to go through both of them. Now, one thing you should remember or know is that, as far as I know, the aluminum shielding is not 100% proof, because RFID devices, you have different frequencies, different strength of devices, and depending on the card or the chip inside of it, you can have various success levels as far as blocking the RFID signal is concerned. Okay, I know that with this particular wallet, which at the time I had only put 1 layer of aluminum inside of, I know that the card for a medical device, which was reading RFIDs, it would read the card by itself if the card was basically waved on top of the machine. However, once it was placed inside of this wallet, which only has 1 layer of aluminum in it, waving it on top of the machine was not able to get detected. It had to actually be placed directly on it in order for the machine to detect. So it does work to a certain extent. However, it's not 100% successful. So, and this is 1 layer of aluminum. I'm going to be making 2 layers of aluminum, and in the pouch that I'm going to make, and I'll show you how to make that. But though you don't necessarily assume that it's 100% successful, you can definitely know that it is working to the extent that depending on whatever machine they're trying to use, they'd have to get right up close to you in order to get it to work. Alright, so any layer of protection is better than nothing. Now, in the case of these wallets, basically these measure 9 by 4, and when you have a wallet that you are using, you're going to find that the wallet has a bit of thickness that it's going to put on the sides, so you want to be able to deal with any width that's going to come up in the wallet that you're going to be using. So you're going to have to make sure you have a little bit more than that. And in my case here, I actually made sure that the aluminum comes all the way from the top, wraps around the bottom, and comes up to a certain level here. Okay, and it also comes around the side and stops at a certain position here. Okay, so the measurements you're going to be taking, you need to take that into account. Now, in this case, being 9 by 4 when it's wide open, and since I intend to double that, that means 9 by 8, and since I need an extra inch because I want to make sure I can wrap around, that means I'm going to have 9 by 9. So that's the sheet of aluminum that I want to make, that I need to make. And since I want it to wrap around here, I'm actually going to need more. Now, when I look at the aluminum that I'm going to be using, it just so happens that this is a 12-inch, so there's 1.5 inches extra on either side. So I'm going to be able to just take a sheet that is 10 inches or 9 inches long, and it'll be 12 inches wide, so that will handle the width of the wallet anyway. So let me take this piece of aluminum out and come back. Okay, so what I got here is actually a piece that's about 10 by 12. So it's a bit more. Whatever it is, you're going to be using a pair of scissors to cut it down to size as soon as we're done creating the sheet of aluminum. Now, the aluminum itself, it cannot be used as is, because the aluminum as is too fragile. So in order to fix that, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be laying down a layer of tape on top of that. Okay, the tape itself regular packing tape, white tape, and we're going to have to lay a complete skin of tape so that the aluminum is going to become pretty much like a fabric. Okay, that's going to be tape on one side and aluminum on the other. So let me do that. While you're putting down the plastic, the tape, you want to make sure that every piece overlaps. Okay, it doesn't matter by how much, as long as it does overlap and it makes contact with the previous piece of tape. Okay, no aluminum must be left exposed by the time you're done. It doesn't matter if it might be a bubble in it. Any bubbles that you might have left, any bubbles you leave, you just need to chase out from under the tape. Make sure that there is no bubbles left. Any wrinkle in the tape doesn't really matter. You want to try and lay it down as perfectly as possible. Okay, but you want to cover the entire aluminum. By the time you're done, there mustn't be a single bit of aluminum that doesn't have tape backing it up in order to give it strength. Now when you're done layering the inside of the aluminum, you actually want to put a frame that goes around the edges as well, that you're going to be using and wrapping around the edges. Okay, making sure that truly the entire surface of your aluminum is wrapped up in tape. Okay, so when you get to the edges, just fold your tape around. Okay, and I need to do that around all 4 edges of the aluminum as well. Okay, so by the time you're done, all sides will have been wrapped. There shouldn't be any aluminum exposure on one side. It should all be a solid piece of tape. Okay, and the other side, even if the aluminum is exposed, okay, keep in mind the side with the tape is the side that you're going to have on the inside, is the side that you're going to have, okay, facing the outside in order to basically absorb all of the punishment of inserting and removing cards and being touched. So the aluminum itself is not what's going to be being touched, it's the tape that's going to be being touched. That's the strong side of it. Okay, the other side, even if you have your aluminum there, you'll see that once you've added the tape layer to this becomes a material that is actually pretty solid, okay, because of the tape. And so the tape is the strength here, and the aluminum is the RFID blocking. And before you use it, basically you just want to chase any balloons you might see, because you don't want to have to deal with those later. Okay, and if you have to, you can take a needle and just pop them on this side so that all the air gets evacuated. It's not a real crime, but just get rid of any air that you have in there. After that, what you got to do is you basically have to make a pouch. Okay, now the pouch, first of all, since I want to make this thing double, okay, I'm going to start by folding this into 2. Okay, and I'm making sure that the tape side is the side that I'm going to be using as the inside of the pouch. Okay, now once the pouch, I have it at the right size, I need to make sure as well that my pouch is going to be just a little bit smaller than the actual wallet that I'm going to be putting it into, so that he'll be able to fit inside of the wallet. So one side you would actually just do it according to the size of the wallet, and then the other side, that's the one that you would cheat in order to make sure that he's actually a bit smaller. Okay, you would fold it in a way that once you take it and you put it on top of this thing, you're going to see that it's actually just slightly smaller than the wallet itself, and it's going to be able to fit in there. So I would be able to take this, open up this guy, slide them in here, I loop the bottom because the bottom is where most of the cards are going to be. The top itself, when you're using your wallet, the top itself basically ends up getting pinched inside the pocket. So that's why I don't really need to make a loop on top. You know, nothing's going to really be sitting there, so any loop that you put there would get pinched anyway, and so it wouldn't really do anything. So you don't need to loop the top the way I'm looping the bottom here of the wallet. I just need to loop the top. Now, one thing you want to remember is that you want to make sure that there's tape on the bottom here. So the way that I folded it and I put it in here, I know that there's tape on the inside and there's tape going around the bottom here because I actually folded it in two. And the exposed aluminum is actually what got folded inside, and so the outside of the pocket is always going to be tape reinforced surface of the aluminum. Now this here, actually when it's done, you know, the only thing I really have to worry about is I would need to cut away this section here because it's actually in front of the hole and I don't want the hole to be hindered by it. Okay, the next thing I would do is that before I would actually close the wallet is that, you know, if you want to, you can cut off the excess here, but I'm not going to bother with that. But what you would want to do is you want to take a piece of tape and you'd want to put that in here facing upward with the sticky side facing up, you know, and then a third of it would be under here in order to help glue down these two sides, but the other third would be exposed so that once you put it in here and you glue it and you force it down, you would put here, and on this end here you would put tape that's facing upward, the sticky side facing up, using it to glue the corner together here but still have part of it exposed, so that when you stick the aluminum inside here, the pouch, and you get it all the way inside, okay, you would have to do that before, and you know, that's after you've cut off the excess here. When everything is ready and you're finally ready to close your wallet, you get it in there, you force this down in order to be able to glue the inside to the back of the pouch here, so that when you have a card to put in and out, the tape is going to make sure that the aluminum pouch follows the inside of the wallet, and so it doesn't get in your way, and it doesn't get in your way, and it doesn't impede you from putting the cards into the pockets. And once you'd be done with that, then you would seal this up, and that would give you an aluminum pouch. Okay, and this pouch would be 2 layers, and it would be it would give me the RFID protection. Now this is one way of getting it in here, okay, while you're making the wallet. The other idea is that if, and this is harder though, okay, if your wallet is already made and you need to get it into the hole, okay, you'd have to fold this up like this and slide it in. And after you slide it in, then you would have to force it open to spread it out inside the wallet. So it's always easier to do this if you're in the process of making it, as opposed to trying to do it afterwards, which is what happened to me when I made this one here, and it's even what happened to me when I made this one here. I had to force it inside through the holes in front. Now the other way that you could install this is a little harder, and you have to keep something in mind, and that is that, you know, rather than putting it all the way in front, making it become the front pouch, okay, meaning that you can only put RFID cards in the front, you could actually lift everything up. Okay, in other words, that would be before you even glued down this section here, so that you would actually put it all the way in back. Now if you put it all the way in back, you know, keep in mind that the 2 middle sections here, they're not glued down to the sides. Okay, you have the space. You could actually slide your aluminum pouch around the back and around the sides in order to get it in. Okay, it would be a bit harder, and you would end up, but you would end up putting RFID protection on the entire wallet. Okay, you have to make sure that the inside gets inside of the pouch that would be being formed by the aluminum. Okay, so here what's happening is that I actually stuck the aluminum all the way in the back of the wallet. So the entire bottom is wrapped up in aluminum. Okay, the front, you'll see that the pouch, the aluminum is not in front here. Still, you'd have to cut this here in order, because it's in front of the hole. But the aluminum, it wouldn't be actually in the front pouch. It's not making up the front pocket. It's not even making up the center pocket. Okay, what it's actually, where it actually is it's making up the back of the back pocket. So what happens when you do that is that you'd have your aluminum basically covering the entire wallet. Now here you would actually have to cut a hole through here in order to put this tab down the center like I indicated before. So I would have to cut a hole through the center here in order to slide this in here in order to get access to the tongue so that we can glue it down so that it doesn't get pulled out. Okay, but once that is done, then you would be able to close it up like this, and you would end up with an entire wallet that would be RFID protected. Now, the one problem that I have with this idea is that aluminum doesn't stretch. The sheet of aluminum that we've created for the RFID protection is not going to stretch. So you want to make sure that you actually have enough aluminum in there that it's going to be able to basically fold out from the sides, okay, while it's you're putting your things in there. And that would almost require that you kind of almost have an expansion flap. You know, you would have to fold this over in order to create some type of expansion flap so that he could tolerate being expanded. Okay, so you'd almost have to do something like this here. Okay, and you'd have to do that on both sides, and you'd even have to do that on the bottom. Okay, when you do something like this, then what happens is that, you know, as you make your wallet and you glue this down, you know, you have to make sure that this expansion doesn't come in past the edge here. When you put the glue, I'll just use this piece of this card as the tape that I would actually be putting facing up so that you can have an idea of where the tape would be. The tape would come and cover inside here so that it would end up gluing these two down, but it would have this extra material that you would put in there, and as the wallet would be getting stretched out by the back, it would pull this extra flap, okay, that would be here. It would pull it out within the wallet and allow it to expand, okay, because since this doesn't stretch itself, you have to make sure that you build those the extra flap in here in order to allow it to expand as you put stuff in it. The TYVEK itself is going to stretch, but this won't. If you don't build that in, what's going to end up happening is that as you put stuff in it, you're going to end up pulling the tape, the aluminum, away from the tape, and you're going to end up having to retape it down again after it adjusts. Okay, personally, I think that you know, having the aluminum pouch in the front is enough, because when you have it in front, the front doesn't expand. The front is not going to be stretched out like the other sides of the wallet. Okay, so having it in front and just putting your RFID cards in front is usually enough, but you know, that would depend on you. So anyway, like I said, you can cut these off if the excess you don't want them. You need to cut off whatever is going to be showing up in the hole here, because you don't want to see that either. You only want to see the back here. And then you just slide it in, and once you've slid it in, you know, whether you take it to cover the entire wallet or whether you take it to just cover the front pocket of the wallet, you know, you could actually, if you wanted to, you could simply use it to cover the center divider of the wallet instead of just the front. So it's up to you where you put your aluminum pouch. Okay, but ultimately, wherever you put it, you're going to end up with a wallet that is going to be RFID protected, and you won't have to worry about your cards getting read, at least not as easily as if you had nothing. Okay, now one small detail is that I actually put the flaps inside. Okay, when you put the flaps inside instead of putting them on the outside, you end up with a front here that doesn't have any seam on it except at the bottom. But now if you do this, you do need to actually glue it down somehow. So whether you use glue or whether you use double-sided tape, okay, something's going to have to be here in order to glue this together. And also, if you do that, you need to neutralize the glue that's here. Okay, and in the long run, this paper the paper that they actually give you with the envelope, that might move. So you actually want to remove that and put down some ordinary paper or plastic or tape, something that's going to guarantee that you've neutralized this permanently so that it doesn't actually end up sticking on anything. All right, so because in the long run, like I said, the paper might move. So this is another way that you could actually finish the wallet, by putting some glue on, putting the flap inside and putting the glue here and finishing your wallet like that. And when you're done, you'll have a wallet with RFID protection, and you won't have to worry about card detection. Thank you. So again, you can find me by looking for, just doing a search in either YouTube or in eBay. You can do a search for NUMBISS, NUMBISS, and when you do that search, you're going to be able to find, within YouTube, you'll find the different designs that I'm making as far as the wallets are concerned. And on eBay, you'll find the main wallet that I'm making, but also you're going to find the envelopes that I'm using. The envelopes are 9x12 TYVEK envelopes, okay, and I have them in 6 different colors, okay, black, red, green, yellow, silver, and white, and it's a solid color, so when you open it up, the inside will be the color of the wallet, of the envelope that you chose. And when you make the wallet that I've showed you the design here, you'd have a 9x4 wallet, okay, when it's open. When it's closed, it's 4.5x4, and like I said, you can stick anything in here because it's large enough to be able to handle anything, so I hope you take a look at the eBay site, and I hope you consider buying the envelopes in order to make the wallets, or you could just buy the wallets themselves because I have them for sale as well. Thank you.